Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free.
We need to have a sermon after all that. Thank you. I get to speak after all. I see that you will remember that the title of this lesson is what? What is it? Tell me.
Are you a rainbow or a rain cloud?
Do you know? Which one you are?
Rainbow.
Okay.
Rainbow.
And does anybody want to guess what I'm trying to look like today? Yeah! How about that? Yeah. It's so funny because in the summer I found this piece of fabric in Hancock's. And it was so pretty, I said, I've got to have that. You know, I need it, yeah, sure. But I had to have it, so I brought it home and I made this top out of it. And then I went to my closet, which is an arsenal of fabric. And I found this color for pants. So here I am in this suit. And I put it in I put it in my closet. And I said, okay, when I feel like it, you know, I always wait for the unction to come as to what to wear. It never happened. Then I got called to be the speaker for the 4th, which is so good to be the first Sunday of any month. And I said, okay, so Lord, what's the title going to be? Because I always get a title first. If I don't get a title, I'm not going to have anything. And it came to me, are you a rainbow or a cloud, or rain cloud? And I said, woohoo, there's that suit. It's going to work today. And so it really, you know, even the little things. Can you believe how good God is? Yeah. I'm telling you, it's awesome. I just can't say it enough. But thank you for not saying I looked like a clown. I said to my husband, sometimes I ask him, how do I look? And one Sunday I was going to church in a very orangey looking outfit. And he said, well, you look like a pumpkin. Okay. I just want to add to this little story that I gave you because so many of you have been commenting about the fact that this looks like a rainbow this morning, so you already had it in your mind. And this is that it's an outward appearance, let me tell you that. It's just outward, it's just clothing. It has absolutely nothing, not one thing to do with me being a rainbow. There is nothing that we can put on the outside until we get filled on the inside with what a rainbow really is. And all of you know what it really is and what it really looks like, don't you? And you know what a rain cloud looks like and what it does, don't you? Yes, we do. So, I have on the board a goal and a purpose. Thank you, Tony. And I would like us to read that together. Now, I'm standing with my back to it, so what I'm going to do is read from my paper with you, if I can get out of this tangle. Let's do this because I think that we all sometimes forget. I don't think we forget as much in this place as you do some other places, that you were put on this earth with a goal and a purpose already. And you agreed to it before you came down out of that beautiful heaven to be incubated in your mommy's womb for a while and then born. So I want to remind us today what our goal was. For every soul in the world, the small corner in which you live, a better place. And we do this by cooperating with Spirit. Let's continue. Number 2, our purpose is to know ourselves, to be ourselves, and yet know, think, talk, and manifest as one with God. Do we do that?
Yeah.
Don't use the word try. Try don't get you there. Seriously, I'm not being ugly or anything. I like to say we're seeking. Seeking is a movement. Trying is kind of, oh, I tried. You know? Okay, get on with it. How much of your divine self can you really retain? And can you honestly bring back to all the innumerable conversations that you go through during the day? It's hard, isn't it? Sometimes it gets hard. We want to be our best self. We want to be our God self all the time. But when somebody comes up and rubs your nose in something, sometimes we don't remember, do we? How is it that we can forget so easily?
Ego gets in the way.
Absolutely. Who said that? Good. Ego gets it. And ego is nothing more than your lower self. You can say, the devil made me do it, but no, he didn't. It's your lower self that made you do it. Your ego. It always wants to keep you going in the wrong direction. It wants you to be isolating from one thing to the other. It wants you to be confused. Oh, I didn't realize that. I was confused. It doesn't work, does it? It's just an excuse. And how in the world can we know ourselves as one with God? It's something that you have to grow into and you have to really believe, because we think, sometimes people think, I'm just not good enough. I'm just not, I don't know how I can be like God because I'm not God. Well, are you or aren't you God's in the making? He said we are, and we're just a little lower than the angels. And so all of that is our history. So why don't we remember that we are divine beings and we are one with God? So most of the time I think that we're courageous enough to speak out to people from our God self. I really do think that. And I think that we can stand in our Godness and speak from that goodness while we're listening with our soft ears and our soft eyes. Now, why do we have to have soft ears and soft eyes? You hear it like it is and you want to dish it out like it is. But is that the way we should do it? I heard what you said. How many times have we fallen into that trap? We've fallen into it and we've let it take us away from our holiness, from our Godness. And so what I want you to do with those soft ears and those soft eyes are to see someone. Let me look at each one of you and see you as one with God. Let you look at me and see me that way, because we reflect each other. I've had people in here say, I've said to them, you look so pretty today. And they said, well, I'm just reflecting you. I've had women say that to me. Isn't that precious? I thought, wow, that would make a good lesson. Because we always do reflect each other, don't we? We really do. When I come up here to speak, it's a good feeling. I feel like I'm in my skin. I feel like I'm in the right place. I feel like I'm doing what I was called to do to the ministry. It's been a wonderful life for me. I want you to also think with me, once you see that person with your eyes, if you're not looking with your soft eyes, you may not see them in the context that they're trying to reflect to you. It may be your problem, and you think it's theirs. But it's your problem that you don't see them the right way, because they're doing everything that they are supposed to be doing. And what's wrong with your attitude? What's wrong with my attitude when I can't see them like that? Well, it's good to be able to recognize that sometimes we need to take a step further with this. Move one step further, and that's seeking it. Don't try, just do it. Just seek it, and it's going to come to you. And if you can see the other person as a magnificent creature of the divine, what are you seeing really? You are seeing a picture of yourself. That's why Jesus said to love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you and I cannot love ourselves totally as a oneness with God, you can't love anybody else that way. You just can't. You might be infatuated and all those little words, but it's not going to be the real thing. So, that magnificent creature that we are is divine. It's just the person that you saw that's divine is just like yourself. So by being a rainbow instead of a rain cloud, in each conversation that you have, you want to really lighten up your relationships in every way that you can as a rainbow, not a rain cloud now. And how do you do that? When you seek, let me share this with you deeply because it's so deep. When you seek to find and discover the best in someone else, you find the very best in you. Ooh, I've got goosebumps all over. Whew. Didn't expect that. So, when you create, when you do that, what has happened is that there is an act of God that comes in, and I like to call it the magic, because God does magical things in my life and will do for anybody's life that really seek that. What happens is that when you bless that other person and you have seen the best in them, God works His magic. You don't even have to ask for this. It comes because you were doing the right thing. He will turn it around and you will see the best in you and feel it. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. So no matter what, your thoughts matter. No matter what you think, your thoughts matter. Because your thoughts become things. You know, I think by next Sunday I'm probably going to be sick. Everything's working fine this morning. It's just me. But that's just crap, isn't it? I'm not going to think that. I refuse to think that. I'm going to think I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine today, tomorrow, and the rest of the day, because when I get up, I make a pledge to the Lord that I'm going to get out of my way and let you take me where you want me to, and I'm going to ride the roller coaster with you. Yeah, that works good for me. But how many times can you really refrain from falling into false speech or negativity when you're around somebody? And they're playing the role of being the Raincloud today. How do you like the way they talk to you? How do you like the approach they come? Oh, it's Monday. Don't you just hate that? It's Monday? Yippee! Another day on planet Earth. I think it's great. So when they start their, can't think of the word now. But anyway, when they think of what?
Litany.
Litany, thank you. When they start that litany with you, then you just have to stand in your own grace, don't you? You really do. You have to really hold on to what you've got. Why do we let somebody else take us down? You know, they can't do that without our permission. And if that's what they want to do, they're not worth being with at that moment. Even if it's your husband, walk out of the room. Do something different. Let him have his little thing, or husbands, do that with your wives too, because we can get real verbal. If you think that you cannot keep from being negative when someone else is negative to you, I'm going to share with you that you most certainly can as the rainbow. You most certainly can in your higher self. You just can send them love and speak back to them with soft ears and soft eyes, realizing they're in a bad place, and you're not going to add any wood or fuel to their fire. And pretty soon it's going to burn out. And then they'll be loving on you and hugging you for helping them get out of it. Okay? You need to focus on the God qualities in everybody that we come in contact. And here's something we need to do that so often, I probably do it myself, so I'm not judging others, because I'd be judging me too if I am. We are listening to someone and we can hardly wait for them to shut up until we can tell them something. Just hurry up Okay, I've got the answer for you now. Just stop talking. And we're pushing them away. We're not listening. We're not listening with them. And what good listening does is it shows your respect. And it shows that you honor that person that you're listening to. And that's what we all need. We all need to be respected by other people. We all need to feel like we're being cared for in a way by other people, like these two have just done this morning. And we all need to really come out of our old patterns. You know, they die so hard, don't they? I'm telling you, it just takes me sometimes week to get over some old habit that I'm tired of. And the ones that I've gotten over, I'm so proud of, because I can do things now that I don't resent, where before I would resent it, just grit my teeth and have to do it. Well, there was no love in that, so it wasn't blessing anybody, was it? So, as a rainbow, I'm going to invite you to contemplate on the idea that we are each one a candle of spirit. Now, that candle of spirit and the rainbow are almost identical twins. So let's get into where that is. We are this candle of spirit, and this is the place where God comes to the point of individual expression. Individualized, I should say, expression. And who and what are those individual expressions? All the yous in here. There's no yous behind you, so me. All of us are those individualized expressions, and we have a goal and a purpose for being here, and we have a role to complete, and we have every time there comes a time when something needs to be done. In my family, it was always me that had to do it. My sister was shy, and she was kind of introverted, and the mouth of the South had to come first, you know, and bring it out. So it was always, my mother called on me, you go to the neighbors and you ask them if you can go to church with them or whatever. I had to knock on the door and do it. My sister wouldn't do a darn thing. I'd get so mad at her because she got away with everything. But guess what? It taught me a lot. Stand your ground and be who you are everywhere you go. And don't let anybody else rain on your parade. Just don't. So as you contemplate that, realize that we shine the light of peace. We shine love and joy when we're working and operating from our higher self, which I like to call the rainbow. This divine, let's see, when we actually do this, shine this peace, this divine light, I want you to know that it's more than just a metaphor. It's not something that people just, oh well, I heard that once, I read it somewhere. It's not that at all. It's a presence. It's a presence that's within you. And this presence, when we take this, is when we connect. When we connect with this presence, we become the presence. And we turn our attention to a higher realm of consciousness. The Christ consciousness. How many of us really have experienced, oh, that's not the way to say it, thank you, Lord. When we have this experience and we're led to do something that's above what we call our calling or our ability or our wanting, our desire, when we're called to do that and it's put on our shoulders and we accept it and do it, we become the light. We become the light doer. We become the one that people are going to focus on to get it done. Because somebody has to do it. And may I remind you that ye are the lights of the world. And the world needs us every day, starting with your families. And that's sometimes a hard place. It is. We have children that sometimes we don't like, which is bad. So we love them, okay? We don't have to like everything about them, but we love them. And then we have all kinds of other things in our life. But what I'm trying to remind you of is that you are the lights, and that person that doesn't have the light needs your light to shine on them. Needs you to be strong. Needs you to be the world in which their rainbows come from. Oh, I love my grandchildren. I'm telling you, being the matriarch of my family has given me the ability and the privilege of having grandchildren that come to me and tell me things they can't tell their mother or father, because what do mothers and fathers do when they're disappointed with their children? Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I'm slapping you now, I'm beating you or whatever. Sometimes they don't understand. They're busy and they just don't understand. And those children talk to me, and I get to share with them wisdom that my grandmother gave me. I was an adopted child, and having a grandmother like her was an angel on earth. And I praise God for her every day. She still comes to me. She still loves me. She still shares with me. And I thank her so much. A lot of you are going to say, well, the world needs rainbows, but. Okay, it really is easier sometimes to be in our safe place where it's quiet and peaceful and warm and you don't have anything else going on around you. It's easy to be an evolved person spiritually, isn't it? You could just sit there and meditate. You can just not answer the phone if you don't want to. You can just be at peace. But when you step out into the world, a lot breaks loose, doesn't it? A lot of things happen. You're immediately sometimes approached or challenged by a human being's actions or comments, and someone want to gossip to you about something that somebody said negatively about you. And oh my goodness, look at what they did and what they said and what they think. And sometimes it's just easier. Now, easier is not a word we want to keep in our vocabulary very much for ourselves. But it's easier for us to get stuck in the vortex of bad habits and go back to the old program, which is chew them out, spit them out, and walk away. Not the way anymore, is it? You can't grow with God and continue to use your old habits. And if they die hard for you, don't think you're the only one. You're not alone, okay? Where do we go then to reclaim our warmth, our truth, and our love? When we get in a spot like that, where do we go when you're out in the world? I think one simple, very powerful way is that to allow us to stay connected to your better self as the rainbow is this mantra: don't let them take away your good. And if you have a problem with somebody that you really can't get it across, you really can't deal with it, and yet they're standing there in your face, imagine. You know the song that we just sang, Imagine? Imaginations are wonderful. They really are. They're very creative. Imagine that person, that he or that she, as a little child. And then you're going to get away from the experience of what you're feeling right now. Because there's a little baby back there being held. And there are other little toddlers that are running around in here. Now, how can anybody not like a little child? Dirty diapers, sniffy noses, whatever, breaking your favorite vase, whatever. You still love them, don't you? It doesn't stop. You don't stop loving them. You're disappointed maybe that you had to pick up the pieces of something that was an heirloom. But you don't give up on that child. You love it because love is what there is. That's what it is all about. The second thing I'd like you to learn to do is to be a good listener. I think I told you that. Because you really, really must learn to pause and let somebody else get it all out before you try to answer them. Maybe they didn't ask for advice. Maybe they didn't want your opinion. Maybe they just wanted to vent. And I don't have a lot of time for venting, for people that want to vent. Sometimes I have 4 or 5 calls from the same person in a day, and I have to say, tell me exactly what you called for. And if you want me to help you with it, then ask the question, because I'm just going to listen. Right now, I'm just going to listen. And if you have if I can help you in any way, let me know. But I'm not going to step out and try to solve your problem for you, because I don't know how you would, I don't want to do that. I don't control anybody. I have to control this person. And I should say God has to control this person. If it's time for us all to become aware of every word that we speak, of every action that we take, of every gesture that we make. You know, you go down the road and you see somebody, they call it, I'm not going to demonstrate it, but they call it giving you the finger. And it can really aggravate you. You wonder, well, what did I do wrong? Because, you know, I'm usually the driver in my car when I'm alone, of course. There's nobody else there to do it. So when I drive and I get a finger, I think, well, what did I do wrong? And so I just say, God bless you. You know? I guess that's all the fingers, though, isn't it? We need to act out of compassion. And we need to energize all that we think and want with the power of prayer. You really have a hard time relating to a person, then you might need to step back and realize there's something going on in you that you need to change. Everybody's here to teach us something. Did you know that? My husband has become I call him my best taskmaster in the world. And sometimes I have to respond as the rainbow in, I'm not going to go there and shine my light on that with you. You're going to have to do that yourself. I want you to know today that when you bring negative thoughts or words or actions to anyone, you are playing the role of the what? The rain cloud. Your negative rain clouds. I have a hard time, saying it, because to me, when I see a rain cloud, I say, "Oh, we're going to get water, and it's going to rain. It's going to take care of my lawn and my plants, and I'm happy for that." And we've had a lot of rain lately. But the rain cloud I'm talking about is the one that when you have an outside wedding or an outside picnic and it rains, go, come back another day. So I'm going to share this with you. In every action and thought that we take, we should do it with heavenly love. Now, we know we should. We do know that, don't we? You all know that. I'm not telling you anything new. It's just we need to be reminded that we do forget. We are not always a rainbow. We are often the rain clouds. And we shift back and forth because we're still on planet Earth. We're still learning and still growing. So, before you ever speak anything, say anything, or take any action or reaction to a rain cloud, before you ever fill the air with your words, first of all, fill your hearts up with love. Remember how we did that in the meditation with the little butterfly wings opening our hearts? Well, you fill that heart with love and walk out of your house with love, and people who honk at you or don't let you pass or get in your way or whatever on the road, you just bless them because you're there to shine that light. Everyone needs kindness and praise, and we need laughter, don't we? I wish I could tell jokes. I just don't seem to have that ability. But anyway, we need to lighten up our relationships one by one. For what in the world is a rainbow? What is a rainbow but a glorious manifestation of the Spirit of God and the power of God that comes over you and envelops you with the beautiful colors that you can choose to float in any one of them at any given time during any day or any crises. And guess what, people? I have just described you and me. Namaste.
Bless all